How many times have you set up a goal, whether it's personal, professional, or fitness-related, and felt like you're just not getting anywhere? You wake up, work hard, and yet the big results feel so far off. Sound familiar? But the truth is that gap between where you are and where you want to be, that's terrifying. That's overwhelming. And sometimes it feels like you're stuck. You can't see the progress. You don't feel like you're moving. But what if I told you that the key to overcoming that frustration doesn't lie in a single breakthrough moment, but lies in celebrating the small wins, the wins that you may not even realize are happening right under your nose? Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to see why these little victories, the ones you easily overlook, can be the game changer for your life, your career, your happiness. So let's dive in. Imagine this. You're on the grueling, long, uphill climb. Exhausting. You're so focused on that summit, but it's almost like you're just inching along. Feel like a metaphor for your goals. That's how you feel when you ignore the small wins. We tend to overlook them because we're obsessed with the big, dramatic moments, huge milestones, grand finish lines. But here is the secret. Progress doesn't happen in a giant leap. It happens in small steps. A single step doesn't feel like much, right? But if you take enough of those steps, you will find yourself at the top of that mountain. The key is that you need to notice those steps and celebrate them. Otherwise, you risk burning out before you even get close to the summit. When we give ourselves credit for small wins, when we celebrate those little moments, we create momentum. And momentum, my friends, is everything. You've probably heard that motivation is fleeting. It's true, but momentum, it's a force that builds, that pushes you forward. Every time you cross something off your list, whether it's a workout, a meeting, or a personal project, you're adding fuel to the fire. You don't need to wait for the big breakthrough to feel successful. Every step you take, no matter how small, is moving you forward. And that's what builds momentum. Momentum turns frustration into excitement. It turns burnout into fuel. But there's a catch, however. Unless you celebrate those wins, you don't even notice that momentum building. When you don't notice it, you risk losing it. Think about it. When was the last time you took a moment to really acknowledge how far you've come? Now let's talk about the psychological side of things. When you ignore small wins, you're also ignoring something much more critical, your own sense of progress. The more you push forward without acknowledging your victories, the more probable you are to feel frustrated, stuck, and discouraged. You may even start to doubt your abilities. So why is the celebration of small wins so effective? It all comes down to how our brains are wired. The thing about this is that our brains are wired to respond to immediate rewards. It's why scrolling through social media feels addictive, or why we reach for junk foods when we're stressed out. We want that dopamine hit. And now, when you do something, anything, really, regardless of its relative size, you get that. A flood of dopamine, that feel-good chemical in your head that makes you feel accomplished and motivated. So when you celebrate a small win, you're basically telling your brain, hey, I am on the right track. Carry on. That feeling of accomplishment, no matter how small it might seem, builds confidence. Each time you hit a target, no matter how small, you're enhancing that notion that you are capable. This confidence fueled what kind of resilience you need to brave setbacks without losing your momentum. But when you disregard those wins, something else comes into play. Your brain becomes defeated. When you next face a challenge, you're less likely to push through because your brain hasn't been trained to celebrate progress. You haven't given it that dopamine boost, and without that, resilience weakens. You begin to feel like you're failing, when in reality, you're just not recognizing how much you are actually achieving. Let's get real. We've all had that moment, right? You finish a huge work project, and instead of feeling like you just shouldered Atlas and saved the world, you just kind of sit there like, is that it? Yeah, I've been there. It's almost like we expect fireworks to go off, but sometimes the fireworks are just a good, quiet, good job from your inner self. Trust me, that counts. So why does celebrating small wins matter in the long run? You probably have heard that saying, success is a journey, not a destination. Yet most of us want the journey to be easy, fast, free of obstacles. We want the finish line without the effort. But the truth is, success isn't one big thing. It's a series of small, daily victories building up over time. Think of success like building a house. You don't just throw up walls and a roof in one go. You start with the foundation, brick by brick. Every brick you put down is a small victory. And if you celebrate that brick, you're going to love the structure you're creating. If you ignore it, you'll miss out, and the project won't even be halfway done before you lose your motivation. Without the celebration of small wins, we end up stuck in the trap of impatience. We see where we want to be, and we're frustrated by how long it's taken to get there. But if you can start shifting your focus, if you can recognize and celebrate the small victories along the way, you'll find that your progress is not just a destination, but rather a lifelong journey of reward from consistency, perseverance, and patience. But here's the real kicker. Neglecting small wins doesn't just slow your progress, it actually stalls it. The longer you go without acknowledging your progress, the harder it becomes to stay motivated. And soon, you may find yourself in neutral. The good news? You can change that right now. So, here's your challenge. Start today. Start noticing and celebrating every small win. Celebrate the tasks you complete, the habits you build, and the progress you make even when it feels minuscule. You won't always feel like a hero at the moment, but trust me, you're building something amazing. Every small win is a step toward the big success you're working toward. Every small victory is evidence that you can do it. So, what's one small win you can celebrate right now? Maybe it's finishing a task you've been putting off. Maybe it's a workout, a good decision, or even just a moment of self-care. Whatever it is, celebrate it. Acknowledge it. You're worth it. Because here's the truth. You are already on the path to success. You just have to start celebrating the small steps that get you there. Remember, the journey to success isn't about waiting for the big wins. It's about recognizing and celebrating the small ones. So get out there, take that next step, and make sure you celebrate it. Because those small wins, they're the real key to your success. Take a moment right now. Just pause and think about all of the little things you've accomplished this week. Whether it is waking up earlier than you usually do, sticking to a routine, making a tough decision, or pushing through a difficult day, it's your wins, and they count. They're not random moments of achievement. They are pieces of the puzzle that, when combined, will create the life you desire. It is so easy to get caught up in the pursuit of the big goal, the one that promises happiness or fulfillment. But the thing is, you are creating your future with every small decision you are making today. You are building it one step at a time, and each small win is one more piece of the puzzle. The best part, the more you celebrate those moments, the more you'll have to celebrate in the future. Now, I'm not saying you need to throw a parade every time you finish a cup of coffee, but hey, if that's your thing, who's stopping you? Go ahead and throw the mini party in your living room to complete that first task of the day, because honestly, that's a win in my book. All right, but back to the serious stuff. If you are feeling stuck right now, if you are feeling overwhelmed by the distance between where you are and where you want to be, start celebrating the little wins. Give yourself credit for those tiny victories, and watch how your mindset shifts from one of frustration to one of possibility. The truth is, when you start noticing things like progress, progress begins to notice you. And once you start celebrating those wins, you will find that more of them start showing up. The key is get the momentum rolling. So let me ask you one more time. What's one small win you can celebrate today? I want you to comment below, share with me. Don't let this moment go. Own it. Recognize it. When you do, you'll realize how much you're actually accomplishing each day. Thanks for joining me on this journey today. If you found value in this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep celebrating our progress one small win at a time. And remember, you are always closer to your goals than you think. Keep stepping forward.